When I thought of this one, I was looking through some editions that we had in the local history, and one of the things that I happened across, and it's not real new edition, but I had looked at it, was Directory of Household Hints. And I thought, oh, and this is from Lockport, and by the Lockport Hospital Guild. And I thought, oh, I wonder what's in that. So I opened it up, and it has things like cheese and meat dishes, and how you make sandwich fillings, and a timetable for cooking vegetables, and suggested meals. It's got all kinds of things in it. And then it has housewife secrets. I thought, oh, I wonder what those are. Plant tonic. A tablespoon of castor oil poured on the ground around the roots of palms and ferns once a month gives them a rapid growth and makes them look fresh and green. Bet you didn't know that. Castor oil. A tablespoon. Well, you better get some. To clean an egg spoon. Here is a little chemical trick worth knowing. When silver spoons become tarnished from use in boiled eggs, sour the tarnished spots with a little moist salt. The tarnish will disappear like magic. So already, you know how to help your plants and clean your silverware. And it goes on with lots of other little things. Silver spoons placed in glass jars when boiling fruit or jelly is being poured prevents breaking. Some of these things I remember my grandmother or my mother saying. And one thing I still do is gargle with salt water if I have a sore throat. Warm salt water works. And another thing for sore throat is a spoonful of honey. And honey's used a lot for throat or lungs or, hi, come on in.
I'll be right there. Chest. I have that.
Oh, okay. Did you go to the front desk?
There wasn't anybody there.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, there's no white wasn't there.
Right.
That's all right. I'll tell them to just wait.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And the one thing I think I've used all my life that isn't really a homemade item, but's been around since I was a baby, is Vicks Vapor Rub.
Oh, yeah.
We all use that.
Yep.
That smell, that menthol, that helps with the colds and the throat and yeah. So when I started thinking about these homemade things, and I thought, well, that's interesting. I wonder what else I could find. Well, I found an article written up in 2022 by a guy who did interviews about home remedies. And he found one person telling him ginger ale for an upset stomach, cloverine salve for cuts and scrapes, ginger flavored brandy for continuous cough. Ginger brandy. Cod liver oil will keep you healthy. Got to take cod liver oil. Castor oil and Vicks Vapor Rub were all needed at home for anything and everything. Ginger brandy with a little honey for a cough. Mustard plaster for a chest cold. Buttered rum for a bad cold with a fever and cough. So we have to go across the street and get some rum. Salt pork to draw out an infection. And salt in a cloth bag heated in a pan and put on the side of your head for an earache. Now, I never heard of that one.
Say that again.
Okay. That's what I thought when I read it the first time. Salt in a cloth bag, heated in a pan for an earache. Okay? If you forget the recipe, just call me and I'll take you. Aspirin on a toothache. You have a toothache, you put an aspirin in and hold it down. I can remember my grandmother telling me that. Put an aspirin on your tooth. A mixture of honey, butter, and lemon juice for a sore throat. That's got all the good stuff in it. Honey and butter and lemon. You're really attacking it. Paste made of meat tenderizer and water put over bee stings. I'm not sure about that. Chest congestion, a drop of coal oil on a spoon of vinegar. That sounds like something my grandmother would say. Coal oil and vinegar. I think maybe I'll stick with some of the newer stuff. But that was from interviews of people who have used those kinds of things and remember their family using it. And I looked it up, and the Remedies, they've really done research on this because they started with Neanderthals used plants like yarrow and chamomile for healing 60,000 years ago. They must have done tests on bodies or skeletons or something. Ancient Egypt, one of the oldest medical tests, documented 850 plant medicines, including aloe, garlic, and castor bean. So these things have been used for years and years and years. And the role of women in this. Knowledge was passed orally through families, particularly from mothers to daughters. And that's the truth. And still that way. In the 18th and 19th century, remedies were documented in almanacs and household or recipe books, which is this. And this was from the late 1800s through the 1930s. They were doing recipe books with helpful hints, and part of it had to do with health. And America's settlers heavily relied on Native Americans to give them the idea of where this plant is or what do I use for my cough. So part of our knowledge comes from Native Americans also. The pioneer wife's job was lots of different things. Food preparation and preservation, so cooking meals in fireplaces, churning butter, and preserving food for the winter. But then she also had to make soap, candles, spinning thread and weaving cloth to make hand-sewn clothing, cleaning, mending clothes, washing, and maintaining the home's fireplace, raising children and teaching them survival skills with few or no schools available, tending a vegetable garden, caring for poultry, and milking cows, acting as a nurse using medical herbs, acting as midwives, and protecting the home from wild animals and other dangers. So it kind of sounds like we women did the whole thing.
What's new?
Yeah, kind of same old, same old. In the 1800s, a pioneer wife was her family's primary medical provider, managing illnesses, injuries, and childbirth in remote areas, that's obvious. That's when you got sick, who'd you go to? You went to mom. Dad was working somewhere in the fields, transporting something in a wagon. Mom was home. Mom was the one that had to do the preventive care. Medical knowledge and remedies often relied on cookbooks or medical guides to prepare treatments from local herbs, plants, and basic ingredients like whiskey or lard. So those two were in medical journals also. Childbirth and midwifery were women's chores. Treating injuries, they treated snake bites, burns, bullet wounds, and agricultural injuries. You better know your business. You've got a lot of different things to help with. And nursing. They provided long-term nursing care for chronic illnesses. So you took care of your family in every way possible. In the 1800s, there was limited access to physicians, and a doctor might be 12 to 18 hours away if you could get a contact to him and get him to come back. So in the meantime, Mom had to take care of him. Excuse me. While the housewife was a local healer, the era also saw the first female physicians like Elizabeth Blackwell, the first woman in the United States to get an MD in 1849. So let's hear it for the women again. And Dr. Ann Preston, who challenged the male-dominated field. So those two women became doctors when it was only really the right thing to do was have a male doctor. But who's administering all the health things at home? The women were. But they were just there to cook dinner and raise kids, you know. But a lot of our knowledge comes from what the women learned in helping their child prevent a cough or an infection. And they used the plants. That's where it all started. Women were commonly the keepers of knowledge regarding herbal medicine and creating remedies from local plants. Women, often lower class women or women in religious orders, were responsible for nursing the sick and injured, providing essential bedside care. While formal surgery was largely a male domain, women in the Middle Ages and early modern period worked as surgeons, barber surgeons, and empirics, practitioners who relied on practical experience rather than formal theory. So women acted as doctors from their hands-on work at home with plants and herbal remedies before the formal trained doctor was on scene. They became doctors, these women with lots of knowledge. As the feminist movement grew in the 1840s, women took on roles as lecturers on hygiene for other women to promote sanitation and health. Use of root systems, teas, and poultices for fevers and injuries were common remedies. Basic medical supplies were like stocking items like opium, calomel, quinine, and castor oil. So those were basics on what you needed. Home medical remedies relied on European herbal traditions, Native American knowledge, and kitchen-based remedies, like we said. Colonial era to the 1800s, early colonists used plants for healing, often using herbs brought from Europe, and later learning local plant uses from Native Americans. People relied heavily on almanacs and published books. Key ingredients, common remedies, included dandelion root for liver issues and peppermint for stomach issues, which I remember my grandmother with peppermint for stomach problems. Many families bought popular, often dangerous, unrelated, patented remedies. So once patented remedies came on in the drugstore, or in the local store, people went for the new, modern ones, which didn't always work as well as the old herbal ones. And they realized that some things were better if you relied on what's new rather than the new things. And sometimes I think happens today. Many turned to homeopathy and herbalism, which were popular forms of home care. Two things I thought I still use today. Don't think of them as medical, but what about chicken soup? Grandma was right. Chicken soup can be good for a cold. Studies show it can ease symptoms and help get rid of it sooner. It also curbs swelling and clears out nasal fluids. So good old chicken soup is still worth the try. And the other is green tea. Comforting drink does more than keep you awake and alert. It's a great source of some powerful antioxidants that can protect your cells from damage and help fight disease. It may even lower your odds of heart disease and certain kinds of cancer, like skin, breast, lung, and colon. So drink your green tea and eat your chicken soup. And you don't have to go to the doctor as much. The book from Lockport Hospital Guild I found in our local history collection. The Hospital Guild, originally the Ladies' Aid Society, formed in 1903, was instrumental in opening Lockport City Hospital in 1908 by raising $5,000 to help build the 19-bed facility. The Guild has historically supported hospital needs, continuing its mission with the new Catholic Health Lockport Memorial Hospital as of 2023. In 1903, concerned women in Lockport formed the Ladies' Aid Society to address the need of the sick, later becoming the Hospital Guild. 1908, the hospital opening. The Guild's fundraising enabled the opening of the 19-bed hospital on July 1st, 1908. The former Eastern Niagara Hospital Guild maintained a legacy of supporting patient services and funding staff scholarships. Following the closure of Eastern Niagara Hospital, the Lockport Memorial Hospital Guild was established for the new Catholic Health facility, immediately starting initiatives like patient boredom buster cards and educational scholarships. I think probably the boredom buster cards were books and papers and magazines that they took around in the facility for the patients. And the Guild is still around. It remains a volunteer-driven organization to support hospital employees and services. Home Remedies in 1901 relied heavily on herbal, kitchen-based, and often severe measures and limited professional medical access. For sore throat, you ready? Batten down the hatches for these. Respiratory and sore throat, hog manure poultices for swelling, honey and alum for gargling, and horehound for coughs. I'm glad we progressed a little bit from there. Stomach and digestive issues, blackberry juice for diarrhea, and teas from herbs like buku for kidney issues. Headaches, hot lemonade or a dough made of cornmeal and salt applied to the head. Infection and wounds, packing wounds with sugar or using herbal teas like snake root. Colic, rags soaked with medical substances for babies. Other remedies, sheep droppings for measles and an axe placed under the bed for labor pain. I thought when I read that, oh, that's reach under and whack it. I thought that was a good plan, you know, it could be useful. Medical in 1901, limited care. Before widespread antibiotics, these remedies were essential. Publications like Home Care and Education of Disease in 1901 and Illustrated United States Almanac in 1901. And the thing that I found was almanacs at the turn of the century included a lot of these medical hints of how to keep yourself healthy and what to use. And I see, when I looked, this was published here in Orleans County in the 1970s, Favorite Recipes of Orleans County. And guess what? It's got about 4 pages of home remedies in it. So they copied the idea of the old cookbook with the home remedies in it. So if you see this around, this is interesting too, because they come out with one chapter called Remedies. And there were Mary Alice Prentice from Knowlesville, Diana Schneider of Murray, Lucy Fancher, all had things in here that were hints about your health and how to help it. So this is worth looking at.
Was there anything new? Was there anything new in that, or was it the stuff that?
It was stuff that they
that you
remembered, yeah,
yeah,
that sort of thing, yeah. And this, the Merck manual, was a medical write-up years and years ago. And it has 10 dubious Victorian cures for the first Merck manual of diagnosing therapy. Arsenic for anemia. Arsenic was one of the top remedies the manual recommended for anemia. Though arsenic had been known as a poison, medicines containing small doses of the substance were long used for conditions ranging from anthrax to syphilis to anemia. So, arsenic. Laxatives for chicken pox.
Where do you buy arsenic? Where do you buy arsenic?
I don't know, I haven't looked.
Walgreens, maybe?
Maybe I could go in and ask. Yeah, I don't know. I've never thought about it. I don't know. Well, you can tell them you have a recipe that uses arsenic, so you need some. Laxatives for chickenpox. Before chickenpox vaccinations became available, an average of 4 million people each year suffered from the itchy outbreak. Merrick was the first that published a treatment plan. Whether it was chickenpox, smallpox, or scarlet fever, was laxatives, ideally a dose of castor oil. So it just flushes you out, gets rid of it, I guess. Okay, are you constipated? Find a little strychnine. Even a tiny dose of strychnine can cause convulsions. Yet the Merck manual, following the medical practice of the day, recommended small amounts as a treatment for acute constipation. I think I'll pass. Chloroform for hiccups. Bad case of hiccups, today you might told to hold your breath and drink water. But in 1899, your doctor might recommend inhaling chloroform, an organic compound that also was a popular anesthetic in the 19th and early 20th century. I'm glad we've kind of progressed in medicine from these suggestions. Oh, here's one for asthma. Inhale smoke. Can't quite put that one together in my head. As counterintuitive as it is today, the manual noted that smoking is sometimes beneficial for asthma, adding that cannabis indica can be used in chronic cases. So, you can snort a little, yeah, it'll help your asthma. Yeah. I mean, you know, maybe we should go back to the old days and get that manual out. If you're sick and feel nauseated, you should try bloodletting. So, as well as the traditional remedy, the manual's first edition also recommended cocaine, the wonder drug of the day to treat all kinds of nausea. So if you want to do bloodletting, you find yourself some cocaine. That can
It's
help.
still a wonder drug of the day. So that doesn't change.
Good for anything.
Did the original Coca-Cola have cocaine in it?
I heard that it had. Now whether it has, I haven't researched it, but yeah, that's where they got the coca.
Very early on, but most sodas back then they weren't for regular consumption.
Right.
You weren't supposed to just drink them.
Yeah.
You took a little bit.
They were
medicine.
They were
Because
medicinal.
your medicine didn't taste as bad going down.
Yeah, they were medicinal.
Another bottle.
7-Up. Yeah.
So if you're drinking Coke, you can it's medicinal, so you just keep on drinking.
So yeah, they had little amounts of cocaine in it early on.
Oh, and Dr. Henry M. Lyman in his 1885 book, Insomnia and Other Sleep Disorders. Other remedies in the manual recommended for insomnia included coffee, alcohol, and putting hot water bags on your feet while applying cold ones to your head. Are you taking notes so you know what to do? Misguided medical notions were also applied to easing colic, severe bouts of stomach pain often suffered by very young babies. The Merck manual recommended ammonia, turpentine, and belladonna, a poisonous plant in the deadly nightshade family, for release from colic spasms. Belladonna is still used in modern medicine for adults, but according to the FDA, there is no safe dosage or toxic dose of belladonna for children. So we went from giving it to children to only giving it to adults. Oh, here we go. Have an earache? Find yourself some leeches.
Oh my God.
Using leeches for an ear infection might sound disgusting at best, but there was some medical justification for the manual's recommendation. Once the leeches are firmly attached to their host, they can numb pain, while peptides and proteins in their saliva prevent blood clotting, so they can help drain an infection. So if you have an ear infection, grab some leeches. They don't tell you that part. And here we go. This is the ultimate. Ta-da! Cocaine for alcoholism. In the 1880s, Sigmund Freud helped popularize the idea of using cocaine to treat alcoholism, calling it a magical drug. In its heyday, cocaine was also promoted as a cure for morphine addiction, depression, anxiety, fatigue, and migraines. It was available over the counter in tonics, powders, wines, and soft drinks. So you can drink your Coke and add a little cocaine in it for alcoholism. So, you know, you're trying to get drunk, but you got to prevent. Somehow.
Makes sense.
I just thought those were kind of unusual to look at them today. They were Victorian cures.
Home remedies.
Pardon me?
They're home remedies.
Yeah, they're home remedies. So that works, right? We can still use them.
People died.
Well,
Oh.
everybody dies.
They died younger.
They didn't take the right amount. You know. Natural home remedies in early 1900s Orleans County, New York. They featured kitchen staples and herbal concoctions for ailments, including mustard plasters for chest colds, goose grease, and salt water gargles. That one. Chest and respiratory, mustard plasters, goose grease applied to the chest, and hot tea made from pine needles. Now this is this county's recommendation. Sore throat and mouth, salt water with vinegar, honey with butter and lemon juice, or powdered alum. General ailments, sulfur and molasses for a spring tonic. Heard of that a lot, sulfur and molasses. Castor oil for illness, and raw egg whites for burns. Haven't heard of that one. Don't know what, must be you use egg whites on a burn to help it. We'll have to try some. Kidney and blood remedy in 1901. A blend of bayberry leaves, senna, mayapple, bittersweet, wild cherry bark, and angelica root. Liniment, a mix of egg, vinegar, camphor, and turpentine, was commonly used for aches. Camphor gum used in poultices and creams. turpentine, frequently used in liniment recipes, and herbs, sage for throat issues, and wild cherry bark for fevers. And I'm going to close with a couple things here in Orleans County. South Barry had a water cure. And I'm sure Bill knows about this. It was 150 years ago. South Barry water cure. 2 water cures opened in Orleans County. The Alabama Sour Springs, also known as Oak Orchard Sour Springs, and the water cure, which operated in South Barry. Located in the town of Barry on the south side of Oak Orchard Road, where the road runs east and west, just north of the mucklands. It was short-lived and seemingly only established by default. So it was one of those, oh, it's a good idea, oh, it didn't last. It was in and out in a hurry. In some accounts, Mrs. Sarah Collins, a wealthy widow from Genesee County, whose married daughter lived in Barry, claimed to have received communications from the spirits who instructed her to drill for oil at a specific location out in the swamp. In 1868, she hired an experienced team of men who drilled to a depth of 1,400 feet, but no success. She tried again, still no success. The water cure enterprise at South Barry, regardless of its purported curative properties, its location 8 miles from the nearest railroad station in Albion, was a deterrent for prospective clients since many other establishments were more easily accessible. In other words, being down in Barry in the swamp was not conducive to having people travel down there for a water cure. But there was advertisement, water cure in South Barry. Friday evening, November 3rd, 1882, a social hop. Music, Northways Band. The committee was Henry Seeger, George Harrison, and Walter Matson. Billing, including supper, $1.
This was at the.
This was at
the cure place.
the cure place in Barry. You have any souvenirs?
So, do they know actually right where it was?
It's on a short part of the old Orchard Road that runs east and west. There's a short span in there.
Right.
Maybe an eighth of a mile.
They used to call it White City.
On the south side of that is a 3-story hotel. And one of the advertisements that they tried to promote the place was it had central heat. There was a furnace in the basement and one register in the hall of gravity heat.
Wonderful.
We had to keep the bedroom door open
If you wanted to be warm.
we wanted heat in the room.
So, is the building still there?
No, long gone.
It was torn down, yeah.
But it was a 3-story hotel.
And the
Was there like a post there, you could see where it was, or?
No.
I don't think
Well,
so.
come on, Bill.
There's no indication where it was.
You're
We
gonna
can
go
look on
back
the
that
map,
far?
you can look on the map and find it, but if you drive by there today,
You would
you
never.
would never. No, show on.
And there was a church cookbook from 1901 that included home remedies. It was from a Shelby book. The Crescent Circle Cookbook, compiled by the members of the Methodist Episcopal Church in East Shelby, included a collection of home remedies. Cholera cure. Tincture of opium, tincture of rhubarb, tincture of cayenne, mixed well together. I think we've got some potential highs around here. That's by Mrs. John Brown. Cholera cure. 1 ounce of rhubarb, 1 ounce of camphor, and 1 ounce of laudanum. Dose for children, 5 drops. For adults, 15 drops in 2 hours. Cough medicine. Juice of 3 lemons, 1 cup loaf sugar, 2 or 3 tablespoons of castor oil. For the croup, a teaspoon of alum grated, 2 teaspoons of granulated sugar. Give as quick as possible. Keep giving until vomiting is produced. So you keep giving it to them until they throw up. And diphtheria, 1 gallon strong apple juice, 1 tablespoon saltpeter, 1 teaspoon cayenne pepper, 1 piece of borax size of a chestnut. Gargle every half hour. That's from A.L. Thurston. Saltpeter or potassium nitrate was mined in Kentucky and is also used in gunpowder. That was a nice thing to know. And that's all in this church cookbook from 1901. Excuse me. Liniment, 1 egg, 1 ounce turpentine, 1 ounce of camphor, half a pint of vinegar. Shake egg and vinegar, then add the rest and shake for 10 minutes. Then you got your liniment. Blood ready for stomach, liver, and kidneys. Bayberry leaves, 2 ounces. Senna leaves, 2 ounces. May apple blossoms, 1 ounce. Bittersweet root, 2 ounces. Wild cherry bark, 1 ounce. Angelica root, 2 ounces. Culver's root, 3 ounces. Put the above in 3 quarts of boiling water. Boil down to 2 quarts in 1 pint. Then strain through a piece of cheesecloth and add 1 pint of alcohol to keep from souring. Bottle and use. Ta-da!
Worth it.
1 tablespoon 3 times a day before meals, half an hour. For children from 1 to 12, 1 teaspoon 2 times a day. Okay.
What does that do?
That is a blood remedy for stomach and liver and kidneys.
You didn't know? You didn't know? If you were sick before, you were really sick.
Well, you were really, really sick, and then you got over whatever was wrong with you. And from our cookbook here, I highlighted a few things. Cough syrup was listed by Lucy Fancher. 10 cents worth of hops and 10 cents worth of horehound. Steep in a quart of water until there is a pint. Strain, then add 2 cups of sugar, 1 glass of honey, juice of 3 lemons. Cook until a good syrup. Tastes better with half the sugar. So don't put too much sugar in it.
What is horehound? Like a plant?
It's a
Plant?
horehound was used as a medicine before. Now you can buy horehound candy.
Yeah, is it root beer taste?
Yeah. I'm assuming it's from a plant.
Fine, Bill. You're out here now.
Okay, now this one was from Janice Barnum Thane. When I first became historian for the town of Gaines, Janice was my deputy historian. She was the first deputy historian in New York State. And she contributed to this book. Good hair stimulant. Half a teaspoon salt, half a teaspoon soda, and 1 cup of water. Use on your hair and scalp each night. It stopped my hair from coming out. Taken from my mother's medical book, Florence Bates Barnum, in the Home Remedies section. Book has a copyright date of 1911. So Janice was passing on a home remedy written down by her mother.
To get your hair to grow more.
Yeah, it helps your hair from falling out. Makes it healthier. In 1866, to make 10... You taking notes? In 1866, to make 100 pounds of good soap for $1.30, 6 pounds of potash, 4 pounds of lard, and 1/4 pound of rosin. Beat the rosin, mix all together, and set aside for 5 days. Then put the whole into a 10-gallon cask of warm water and stir twice a day for 10 days, at expiration of which time you will have 100 pounds of excellent soap. No, there you go. You can make your own soap. Nobody's taking notes. Cut flowers last longer if you keep a solution of 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and 3 teaspoons of sugar to a quart of water. The vinegar checks bacteria and fungi, and the sugar serves as food. White liniment by Lucy Fancher. 1 pint of vinegar, 4 eggs, 1 ounce of turpentine. Beat eggs well before putting into vinegar. Add turpentine last. Good for man and beast. Recipe was my grandfather's, DeWitt C. Baldwin's. He died in 1900. So that's Grandpa's recipe.
Oh, well, yeah, he was born 3 years early. He killed him.
Well, she didn't put that in parentheses, but she's recommending it.
Had to be at least 40.
Janice put in another one, mustard plaster for congestion. 1 part mustard, 3 parts flour. Mix these with lard, add an egg white. These help preventing blistering. Lay a gauze over the patient's skin and spread the mixture on the gauze. Nail polish will last longer if you add 2 teaspoons of vinegar to 2.5 cups of warm water, then dip fingertips into the solution for a few seconds before applying the polish. Make your nail polish last longer. Let me see. This is the last one. For neuritis, Janice Thane. Juice of 2 lemons, 1 tablespoon of cream of tartar, 1 quart of boiling water. Mix, let cool, and drink as often as one can. Taken from my mother's medical book, Florence Bates Barnum, in the Home Remedies section. Book has copyright date of 1911. So Janice was also handing out little tidbits of how to keep you healthy. And I guess that's it for today. Anybody have any ideas, any things your folks used to use?
The only thing I kind of remember is Coke syrup. I don't know if it was for stomach or was it stomach? And do you think there was cocaine in it at that point? My mother was feeding it to me.
Originally, yes. Originally it did.
But
Anything that had Coke
I remember that.
Coke in it was started out with cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, when it was taken out of the Coke was distributed?
It was fairly early on.
Yeah, it didn't last too
I
long.
know it had in it in like the turn of the early, like 1911.
Okay,
And
well, by the time
I want to say the third, well, I don't want to, actually, no, I'd have to look it up.
Okay,
Let me see.
I like to think that.
Yeah,
Because
I was gonna say, we did not.
A lot of things that we go, oh, it's cocaine, or it did have cocaine in it early on.
Well, maybe.
Oh, actually, it removed cocaine from its formula in 1903.
Okay.
So it was mostly 19th century elixirs that had it.
So I'm wondering if maybe they had realized that the cocaine is what was settling in their stomach or something. Yeah, just kept giving it to us even without the cocaine. I don't know.
I think it settled his stomach.
Yeah, I mean, my mother.
Why can't get rid of it totally then? Come on.
Well, they maybe put
The Coke syrup? Did they? Well, people still use it today. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Coca-Cola, they started out. It didn't last long, but it did. Coca-Cola did have Coke in it.
Yeah.
Cocaine.
One thing I remember as a child, my mother had what was called a vaporizer.
Yes.
I had a cold or something. She
Yeah.
brought this thing and it gave off steam,
Yes.
and I think she put in some
Looks
sort of
finished.
thick
Yeah.
product in the thing that
Sure.
made the
And it works. You still can breathe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vaporizer.
Yeah.
Did people use things like that today?
Yes, they do.
Well, they have a thing with Vicks where you take it in the shower, I think, don't they?
Now,
Where you,
yes.
yeah,
Do they?
yeah. I think
So yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No cocaine in it though.
Well,
You could get whatever pleasure out of it.
just that you can breathe again. I mean, that's the only
Forget everything else.
thing. Anybody else? Well, thank you all for coming.
Well, thank you.
Interesting thing.